So my name is Kitty Tseng, and I was diagnosed with stage 2 invasive ductal carcinoma, which is a type of breast cancer that starts from the milk ducts and move on to the surrounding breast tissue. I had a year of treatment where I've had 3 surgeries, chemotherapy and radiation. And right now I'm on hormone therapy medication to prevent recurrence. I had some shooting pain in the right side of my breast that wouldn't go away. So at the time I spoke to my family doctor, who then referred me to Markham Stouffville Hospital because of the efficient process that they had. They said that they could do testing for me right away, and if there was an issue, they'd have the doctors and nurses there to take me on to the next stage. So unfortunately it did come back as positive. So I could barely hear what Dr. Yang was telling me at the time because I felt like I had to have a brave front. You know, there's been so many patients that go through this, I can't break down. So I made sure he had left the room, the nurse had left the room, and I actually had a few minutes to actually cry and let it out. And the nurse, she'd made sure that when I stepped out of the room that I was okay. There was someone driving me home, and it was really, really overwhelming at the time. From there, I think they sent it on to the lab and confirmed that it was breast cancer. And then I did a lumpectomy, chemotherapy. And right after that, I did a double mastectomy, which is something that I opted to do. And Dr. Yang was very supportive of my decision. After that, I followed with radiation. And then early this year, I had my fallopian tubes and ovaries taken out. My only family in Canada is actually my husband and 2 boys. So for them, it was a very scary time because I'm their caregiver. I've always been there, and to see mom, you know, being, I guess, vulnerable and weak, having to be treated was very hard for them to take. You know, how do we tell them, you know, what's going on without scaring them too much? So it was a very fine line we had to navigate at the time. When I was diagnosed, I was in the old breast health centre of Markham Stouffville Hospital, and they renovated to a new place, a bigger place with more rooms and pretty wallpapers, and there's a fireplace. All of that is possible from donations as opposed to government funding. So that was very surprising to me. It's important for people to know that their local hospital have got them covered with, you know, the up-to-date, you know, machinery and staff that really care about them and their treatment. Especially when I was going through chemotherapy, I walked in and the nurses would very quickly sit me on a really comfortable seat, a recliner, and she said you could put your feet up if you want, and asked me if I wanted a drink, gave me a warm blanket. It was very, very nice. It felt like a family more than a hospital. And for me, it was actually really important because my family's back in Australia. So having family in the hospital made me just that much more calmer. And I always felt a bit scared and anxious going into the hospital, but coming out of it, I felt great. Getting used to the new me. I'm running, I'm eating healthier, I'm pursuing my dreams, I'm trying to be a figure skater, so and we're living life. So my husband and my kids, we're taking more time out to enjoy holidays and whatnot. So I'm sharing my story because I hope it will help people understand that the hospital is not so scary. Treatments aren't scary. You can have a wonderful experience like myself. I know it feels like every day during treatment and recovering from surgery feels like an eternity, but it will pass. And I think I'm living proof that you can do it. If I can, you can do it. I wouldn't want anyone to go through what I have, but if you do have a situation where you do need to rely on a hospital, I would hope that every single person had the same positive experience that I have with Markham Stouffville Hospital. It definitely, it's something that I will have with me for the rest of my life.